Yo, testing, testing. All right. My chat phone needs some juice. Okay. So let's take a look at yesterday. Yesterday was a busy day. Well, the fact that I've listed so many things here is because I wrote them all down before I checked them off, so it's more of a coincidence. But those are lots of little tweaks. Just some UI stuff, gameplay stuff, cursor auto hide. Yeah, that's the Steam review told me to do that. Just to make the game better. Gameplay, disconnect messages. Yeah, I added interiors for all the huts in the world. And I added hidden rooms in the overworld. That was on stream, actually. On the last stream. Then I made entering interiors or exiting not take a turn, so that zombies can't kill you before you can react. Then I added back mimics, kind of. So there's a chance that a monster is hidden in a chest when you try to open it. More consistency in the controls. I removed the trunks from rendering for now because the way I'm rendering them isn't working for all graphics cards. Then I added a disclaimer for the alpha downloads that I'll remove them when the game goes into early access. I've removed supply spawns. Improve supply spawns. No idea actually. Remove actuation of open doors. Yeah, so once upon a time, approximately 1 week ago, you could close doors. But for some reason I removed that, and I trust myself for now with that decision. But you could still actuate them, so you could still press the action button and the sound would play. Oops. Okay. Then I decided to limit the item stacks to 5, so that you can't walk around with 10 potions, because that's just the end of the game, kind of. Make stone text better and change the color. Yeah, so the path stones, of which there are 10 right now, I was pretty annoyed by the texts because they were bad, and I changed them. So they are randomized, but they still tell you the number. So that's much better. Continue game balancing, yeah. That's just playing the game and writing stuff down to change, which is what I'll do today. I hope I changed the Twitch title, yeah. Okay. So I have about, what's that, 15 things I want to change. They are small things, but I'll do them pretty fast and then see how that pans out with the game. Okay, so let's begin. First one is so these are not final, so don't be scared, but I will test them. So first I'll remove the health regeneration. So regen, okay, increase by 1 up to 50. Oh yeah, okay, that counts the turns. So in turn 50 you will get a heal of 1, but that's gone. Then next one is doubling the health of everything. So what I did today is I just thought about the features. I thought about so what I need is something that I need strategies in the game. I need something that is complex enough and long-term enough. Well, complexity is actually not a criteria, but I need something that's long-term enough in the game so that players can create strategies. And I've been thinking about that the whole day. I have some ideas, but I'm not sure. I'm stuck between thinking the idea might be awesome but they might be bad as well. So it's probably not a good idea what I thought of. But these things I'm doing right now, they should make the game better. So I doubled the health. I think I did that yesterday. That is removing the failed attacks. So neither the hero nor the enemies miss their attacks. Okay, next one is make health potions very rare but regular. So this is this is a bit more complex. This is the one second. This is the spawning of supply objects, and that is done in what is it? Way. Yes. Okay, so I've already tried 2 different approaches of spawning stuff. And actually, that's not health potions. Health potions is loot. But the same problem. Loot. I should also update the wish lists. 1 second. I think it was 155. That is home scripts. 159 actually. Awesome. Thanks so much. Okay. Loot. So this is weighted kind of poorly. So I have a weighted random function here that says, okay, 3 out of 5 times it drops a potion, else it drops a medicine. But I want this to, well, with 2 items it's pretty lame. So this might actually be good. But it should drop less often. Well, actually, no, the new method is better. So the new method is, instead of having a weighted random, that could drop. So this is, I'm concerned with the vases. And the chests as well, maybe. Yeah, so this is weighted random. This means it could, for the vases, it could drop potion, medicine, and then, so this is different vases. Vase number 1, then you crush another one, 3rd one drops this, 4th one drops a potion again. And in between, there are many that drop nothing. But if I were to say, okay, I think it's called a bag or a virtual bag. So let's say I have an array. And that array is potion, medicine, 0, 0, 0, 0. Then each time I shuffle this array. So each time loot is called, I shuffle this. So it's 0, potion, 0, 0, medicine, 0. Shuffled. And then I pick from this array first index 0, then, or maybe actually the other way around. So I pick this n minus minus, 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 minus. Then if it's empty, the array, or if n is 0, I take the original and shuffle it again. This time potion 0, 0, 0. Oh, medicine here. Get the idea. This means that the amount of potions and medicine the player gets are always the same. But the order is different. I'm sorry. So basically, I can't have a run with 10 potions and 0 medicine dropped. That's then impossible. And it's also easier. I don't have 2 arrays, I just have 1. So if I say, okay, this is... let me turn down the music for myself. It's a bit loud. Okay. So static int vase. And then here, well, I also need static int and vase. This can go, and this can go as well, but I return the object index. And I should be handling this function returning 0. But let's check. If 0, then return, and that should be the only call. Yes. I have the call here and the definition there. The rest is just comments. So, and this is for corpses as well, which are also containers. So if envase 0, then in using this algorithm a couple of times, I maybe should put it in a function, but I need shuffling. I think it was in path. Yeah, so this is the loop. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 7? But it was 8. It was 7. And so I take the count vase -1. Need a high integer and R and B. I'm not exactly sure how it worked. I can't remember, but it's pretty simple. Just swaps 2 members at random at a random index. So it counts from the end of the array to 0 and swaps another random index with the current one, and then the array is shuffled. And this is I can't actually always shuffle the same array. Yeah. Shuffle items. And then I actually need these braces. And envase is count -1. Is that true? I think so. Okay, and what I return is vase and envase minus. Let's look at this again. Those are integers. I keep this non-defined the size, so I can easily edit this. It was a 1 out of 2 chance, 50-50 chance to drop something. Now it's 1 in 3. That's okay. I have I, R, and B. Let's call this temp to make it more obvious. So if it's 0, if there's actually if this is -1, I think it's -1 because this is 1. If this is 0, I want 0 to be returned, and then this gets decremented as -1. So if it's -1, then shuffle. Reset the index, the number, the count, and then return. So that should work. Let's do the same for the chest. Or should I test this first? Let's test it. Compiles, that's a good sign. Let's go to the test room. Already have stuff lying around, but I need these urns or vases in the code, same thing. So there should never be the same item dropped. Oh, this looks so clean. That's incredible. Awesome. Okay, let's do the same thing for the chest. And that is X, shield, and ring. Let's keep it 50-50. Let's just copy this. This is number of items in the chest. It's the chest array. All just integers. That makes it easy. And then I just return this. This can go. Okay. Yep. Okay, I'm still here. That's good. Okay, all chests now. That's lucky. This is weird. Gave me 2 axes. Before it gave me... Okay, I mean, it could make sense. But no, actually it should give me all 3 items. Okay, there was a monster in the chest. It should give me all 3 items before a double one. Trinket, okay, that's good. And that was lucky. And trinket, okay, that works. Must have seen something wrong there. So this is awesome. Let's increase this. Let's leave that. Yeah. Okay. That is make health potions rare but regular. So that's done. Put all the items in a bag. And I should do this with the spawned items as well. Hey Diego, how's the game coming along? Good. I'm changing some things right now. Especially the how things spawn. And that is game. Way. Is it? Oh, it's object. Here. Okay. Let's don't think I need this function for now. Okay. Same thing here. Let's disable all of this. And then say static int spawn. And then let's take let's call it L2 for layer 2. So I'll make 2 of these. That's spikes. That's mist. Stone, a corpse, herb, deer, and a mushroom. And let's add. Actually, let's. Oh, this is 1 in 60. Okay. But I can keep that 1 in 60. And then I need the number of the layer 2 and then 0. The only thing that changes is that there's no deer. Yeah. Then I have this. And the shuffling. And I need the switch for the layer. Yeah, I don't want pointers. Ethan, how's it going? The game went through the Steam review, so they greenlit it basically, so I can release it. That's pretty awesome. I received an email just after stream yesterday that Steam approved the game. I'm good. I'm a bit cold, but it's kind of cold here right now where I live. Wicked and 159 wish list. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. And I'm improving the randomness of the spawns in the game right now. Shouldn't take too long. So if the level is 2, then do this. Else if it's, well, there's only less than phase and L2. L2. And yeah, that's not pretty, but we'll have to do for now. That is L0. Well, no, it's NL0. And L0. And that should be enough. Now, how do I test that? Maybe with the bot. It's maybe the easiest. Just watch the bot. Yeah. And let's make it a bit slower so I can see what's happening. I'm missing variables. So I'm looking for traps and corpses and what else? Herbs and deer and stuff. Interiors don't count. I haven't seen any up until now. Okay, bot, please. Walk along the path. It might actually be easier to just walk it myself. Okay, there's nothing. So 1 in 60. Yeah, this should work. Let's just walk it by hand. Okay, there's one. There's another one. That was the stone. And I mean, there could probably be more. Okay, there's a trap. Let's make it 40 for now. And check that off. Okay, that was actually in the other thing. Okay, potions heal less until taken at low health. That is item potion. And let's increase this. Let's double this actually. How much the potions heal, because I doubled health. And then if... Well, how do I get the percentage? That is in game. Heads up display. Yeah, there it is. So if the health of the player is less than 20%, then heal double. Else heal the old value. Does that make sense? I'll just test if this works or not. By playing the game. Make gear average out enemy attack rolls. Okay. So the idea is that if you increase your defense with a shield or with armor, then not only does it subtract from the damage you would have taken, but it also it removes the spike damage, so it's more predictable. If only I could find the function. Call attack, there it is. Okay, that is Damage minus AC. When you release it, are you doing early access for free or cheap, and then follow the plan you put on the Steam page where you increase the price with new content? So yeah, it'll start. It'll cost when I release it. I'm thinking 12 bucks right now, but with a discount, so around 10. And then I'll increase the price, but slowly, when I feel like it's warranted. But yeah, I've been thinking about pricing a lot, and 12 bucks is it's maybe a bit much, but I think it's I don't want the game to feel cheap. That's maybe the driving thing behind that. So I don't want to end up in a garbage pile on Steam by selling the game for under 10 bucks. So that's the reasoning behind that. But it'll be on sale probably when I release it for, and that's if I sell it for $12, 12 euros, then that's I'm not sure if I think it's 12 pounds as well, maybe a bit more. And then with 20% off, it's $9.85 or so. Yeah, if it costs cheap, then people will assume it's a cheaply made game. Yeah, that's what I want to avoid. And if people show up on Steam and they really can't afford the game, then I'll just give them a Steam key. I mean, that's not the problem. But yeah, maybe someday I have enough content to price it like Caves of Cod, for example. But that game has been in development for 10 years plus, so might be a while. But they are at 30 bucks. So I think 12 bucks is a fair starting point, and I won't increase it for quite a long time after that. So that's the idea, yeah. Yeah, still means you get exposure if people can't afford it and have a free key. Yeah. I mean, I think I can't give away that many keys, or Valve might get angry, but every now and then. So we show that they're playing it and stuff, which means you could get a few people who have paid. Steam will show that they're playing. Oh yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I'm much more concerned with the game being good than with the game making money, if that makes sense. Because I want this to be a long project, so. Yeah. So how do I average out the attack? It's actually not that easy. So this is the attack role. AT is the attacking entity. And it rolls an integer between 1 and the attack roll of the attacker right now. So that means if an entity has an attack of 8, it rolls a dice from an 8-sided dice. So from 1 to 8. And then it adds some bonus depending on how far the player is into the path. But if I want this to be more predictable, oh god, that's math. I can't do math. Makes sense. What do you think you'll implement when the game's complete? You mean in a year or 2 or 3 or 4? Or you mean after early access? So the game's complete when... that's a good question. In about a year. So I would like to have 3 additional regions. So I have 1 region right now. I want to have the other 3 maybe in a year when that's when I can make that. But with every day, the region that I have right now gets more, needs more effort to get to a higher level of polish. And I realized that it'll take a lot of time to create the other regions. So I hope 3, maybe only 2, but that will be the case. And then I want more monsters, more intelligent monsters. I want special places. I want NPCs. I want recurring quests. And I want a whole lot of lore to explore. So that's a whole lot of writing. And I want everything to have good sound effects and the sound ambiences as well. And maybe 10 more songs or so. If I say songs, it's just the background audio. So yeah, but the thing is, I'm stuck the most with the long-term gameplay features. And I think I'll just have to get there step by step. I think coming up with a big system of features is impossible to make good. So if I, on paper, design all the gameplay features that sound great and they mesh all together and it's all coherent and easy to understand, but it's all on paper, and then I implement it and it's probably going to be shitty. So I think I'll just implement one little feature at a time, and then if things fall into place, I'll group things and create an overarching features that bring them all together. I think that's the only way. But yeah, there's a lot to come. So the good thing is the graphics are simple and the core rules are pretty simple with movement, etc. So that's easy to extend. But I mean, writing takes a lot of time. Music takes time. That's all still huge amount of work. But yeah, it'll grow. It'll grow. Maybe not at this breakneck pace like the last month or so, but steadily. Maybe I can switch to normal working hours. That would be awesome. Like at least for a couple of weeks here and there. So make year average out enemy attack rolls. I think that's too complicated for now. Make cure potions rarer. I have that. Let me actually put on a jacket. I'm freezing. And go to the bathroom while I'm at it. Oh. That reminds me, actually, I should add a completed, in the works, coming soon list to the website. And maybe the Steam page. Do you think about implementing multiple region game while keeping permadeath? It will become quite difficult to play in balance. Not that it's a problem though. I guess that's a problem for the future. So if you play NetHack, for example, it's not uncommon to have one run take 8 or 10, 12, 16 hours. So it's not a problem at all. What I have to decide is how I split the regions, or if I split them at all. But yeah, that's a future problem. And yeah, balancing is, of course, always a problem. But I mean, I've played Persona 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's 80 hours long. So, I mean, sure, my game isn't as interesting, but... And those are narrative games. That's also different. So yeah, forget what I said. But yeah. 8 hours for a roguelike is totally fine. Okay. Make potions rare. So add foreshadow to enemy debuff attacks. That's a huge thing. I had that once before. Not sure if it's easy to implement. Might have to think a bit. So the problem is right now if the player fights with a snake, for example, they will get poisoned, probably. It's pretty likely. And it's kind of unfair, because there's no way to avoid that. Unless the snake tells the player, okay, in the next turn, I will for sure poison you when I hit you. So then the player can step away. Possibly in the range of the next snake, but there's a chance for the player to retreat so that I can say, yeah, you've died to poisoning and it's totally your fault. And the player can tell themselves, man, that was totally my fault. And I think that's how it should be. Same with blinding attacks and stun attacks if I add them later. Yeah. So the first of all, I have to find out how I'll implement it, because I don't have planning, just have these flags. I threw the planning away because it was much too much code for too little effect. Well, you could add a small icon or color change for the charge attack of enemies and for the snake poison attack indicator. Could add a small icon or color change for the charge attack and for the snake poison attack. It's actually a good point. Do I distinguish? I think it's okay if they... I mean, one thing that would be very obvious is if I pulse them red. And then I can say, okay, in the next turn the enemy attacks. But you don't know if it's a really bad attack. Or one that poisons you, or if it's a normal attack. But I don't want to make it completely predictable. So I think what I'll do is I won't change the color or the icon, but I'll vibrate the enemy a little bit. So you can only see it if you pay attention. And then I'll probably... let's try for every attack. Okay, so the problem with this code is I have to know in the render entity code. So that's just rendering. So there's a shake variable here. Oh, that's a shader. Okay, that's bad naming. But it's shaking somewhere. Here, English entity shake timer. So it has a shake timer. But this function is only called once a turn. So I need to set the shake timer in the visual update. That's not here. Here, visual update. So yeah, here it is. Shake timer gets reduced. And then I say if the entity attacks or something, I set it to a value constantly. Oh, does that work? Let's see the shake code. That's render entity face. Okay, still named shake timer. Okay, so it's shake timer is just the scalar. The actual time is the game clock. So the shake value is sinus of the seconds that the game has been running times scalars and stuff. And then the shake time is just, if it's 0, then it doesn't shake. This whole thing goes to 0. And I have a cosine for the y. And yeah, it's shaking only a little bit. That's very, very little. So if I set this to 0.5, I think that's the default. If I set this every frame, then it always shakes a little bit. So now I just need to set this attacks variable and create it. Best thing would be if I can infer it from the entity state. That's sadly in the same function, same file. Combat. Okay, I have a variable that says entities in combat. Well, it's not in this file. Okay. It's entity combat. Okay. So this gets called once per turn for each entity that is in combat. So what it does is it chases a target. So this is the entity whose turn this is. So it calls chase. And that might move the entity towards its target, most likely the hero. And then they have an attack cooldown that gets set. When does it get set? So this is commented out. It gets set never. Oh, here it gets set. That's ranged attacks. Okay, so only ranged attacks gets have a cooldown of 2 turns, and that's because the spiders would just straight up destroy you. And 2 is pretty harsh as well. Should maybe be 3. But yeah, I'm... well, I mean, they should also vibrate if they're about to shoot. So how do I... How do I determine that? I could write a function that says entity attacks. And then try to infer it from here. That would be if entity is combat. It's not in combat, then it doesn't attack. If it's ranged and the cooldown is greater than 0. So this is duplicating a lot of code, but I like duplicated code more than duplicated state or data. And now the problems begin. So I have to call this every frame in the rendering code. So I actually don't want to call behavior functions. But it might be the only way. Let's take this apart. So if the entity is a ranged entity, then this is an expensive function. But I can check if it has a target. If it has a target set. I don't think I ever reset this. And that's a position. Let's look what align says. Sets D to the step towards, returns 1 if arrived. Onto PT. I mean, this might work, might also not work. entity and then target position. So if it's not aligned to shoot, then also return 0. And then can vibrate. Actually, let's keep it this way. Okay, if it's not a ranged attack, then yeah, let's deconstruct this chase. And I can also check the target position. Also check the cooldown, even though I don't set it. Curious to see the snakes wiggle. They will, hopefully. So I can check if the monster is at its target. And then, what is this? Yeah, I mean, I think that should be fine. And then it just strikes. Oh, it strikes with a probability. It does a special attack with an ability. But this all falls through. Yeah, so Sting is a poisoning attack. That would be a snake. If the roll fails, this just falls through. Falls through because the snake can't do anything of these attacks. And then it hits strike, and that also attacks. So it should be... It should work, maybe. Probably. And yeah, with the it's not in combat flag, this should actually not take that much processing power. Okay, now I have this. You need the visual updates. That's in the same file. It's good. So this can be static. Returns 1 if entity is about to attack. Will attack next turn. Okay, that's right below. That's great. So if this is 1, then it shakes. Implicit declaration. Okay, where's align? That's probably static. Why shouldn't it be? So let's export this. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what happens. And I changed the color of the stones to gray again. Oh. The other snake is vibrating. This one isn't. So, not sure if you can see it. It's pretty subtle. But this one's vibrating. It's just 1 or 2 pixels on my screen. So if I wait, it should shoot at me. Okay, that's correct. Now it isn't vibrating. Now it is. But there's nothing for it to shoot at, so that's wrong. Oh, it's moving. What? And it shot without vibrating. Okay, so this is not working. Also, vibrating might be the wrong word. It's shaking. Okay, something's not right. It vibrated, even though it was just moving. So it can be moving while in combat, of course. But then I think it was the alignment. Yeah, it might be a problem with this PTG target position thing. Align. Well, maybe let's check with melee enemies first. Maybe that tells me something. Okay, no vibration. No vibration. If I wait, the raptor shouldn't hit me. And it hit me. And now it's vibrating. And I'll wait again. And it hit me. Still vibrating. Hit me. Hit me. Okay, that makes sense, kind of. Okay, snake is not vibrating. And it hit me. Okay, there's a big flaw in here. Let's see. First, let's look at this code. If the entity attacks, that is the entity that gets the visual update. I set the shake timer. That looks okay. Now, if it's ranged and it's aligned, then return 1. And align returns 1 if arrived, which is, of course, doesn't make much sense. Oh god, that's complicated. Why is it always returning null? Okay. Okay. So it takes the Manhattan distance between the entity and its target. If that's less than the far range, but greater than the near range. And if it matches one axis, so if it's either aligned with it on the x-axis or the y-axis, then return 1. And that's what I want. That's That's okay. The other stuff is just trying to get to that goal. So this all returns 0. So it might actually be the position. Does it set? Doesn't set PTG. It sets it here. So if it's not aligned, then it walks. It tries to walk. If it can't walk into the next position, it chases. If it is aligned, it sets this variable, the target variable. And I think shooting takes this variable into account. So if I set this variable to 0, maybe that will help. Okay, strike, that's hitting something at this position. So I'll just set the variable to 0 here. And then where's the shooting? Okay, that's webbing. This is shoot. Return 1, return 1, return 1. Is okay. Set it to 0. Yeah. Probably. That's just resetting the helper variable. That might, hopefully that'll work. Nope. I mean, this is all cheating, so that I don't need a planning system, because yeah, that's just shot. Is that user variable? So I don't want to add a new variable to the entity struct, because I'll have to update the save game. And I'm just too lazy right now. Good, because I'm just testing. So I'm curious why it stops vibrating sometimes. Or am I completely misunderstanding? Yeah, I think it's a variable. So the problem is it's not shown even though the entity will attack. So it's a check that fails that shouldn't. I could also just call this function. You know, the more I watch, the more I miss the blue path stone. They were more recognizable, but from a distance and good reference points. Guess it depends on the feeling you want to give. Yeah, I also really like the color. The blue color. I just felt it was too arcadey. But yeah, I'm just feeling it out. Might make them blue again. What is far and near? Oh god. That's entity range. It's 1. Entity. This. But this is just the same. Okay. Was fine to me. Okay. I'll look at it again. Maybe the blue was just too saturated for me or something. Entity attacks. So now if the target position is 0, then return. If the cooldown is active, return. Else, if it's aligned, return a 1. Or if it's yeah, this is the wrong way around. Now Yeah. Let's do this same way. Why isn't there... Okay, there's an else there. That's why it doesn't complain. Let's just add the 0 for safety. So I think it's this PTG variable. Let's look where it occurs. Okay, strike. I think I reset it here. I think I just call these here. I should probably reset it here. Let's just try that. Run, please. Okay, it's coming, it's coming. It's not vibrating. Am I just checking something wrong? I bet it's just a 1 that's supposed to be a 0. If the entity attacks, then set the shake timer. And the shake timer is used here. Entity attacks. It does not attack if it's not in combat. It does not attack if its target position is 0. That's a guess. Let's add a poison sign here. It doesn't attack if its cooldown is greater than 0. And if it's a ranged attack, so if it's attacking ranged, and it's aligned with its target position, then return 1. Otherwise 0. If it's not ranged but melee attack, then check if it's exactly one Manhattan distance away from its target. And if so, return 1, which means the entity attacks. That makes sense to me. Then it's really this PTG variable. Let's go through it. Wrong file. Where is it set? Let me see where it's set. Where is it set? Nowhere. Here it is set. Chase. So find the foe. Check if you're standing near it. If so, set the target, and return 1. If links, how's the progress? It's going well. Still lots to do. But I'm mostly concerned with balancing still. And trying to understand my own code. So chase does what it says, and then it sets the target position. Aim does the same. Maybe I should reset it here. Does that make sense? Why does this return 1? Yeah, that's what I added. And the rest is just reading. Well, let's see. Good to hear. Less than 2 weeks till the big day. Yeah. I mean, it's just early access, but yeah, it's kind of a big day. But I think I'll just sit on stream and balance the game some more. That's the plan. So I have nothing special planned. Other than streaming for a couple of hours. Okay, so I didn't watch. What they were doing. But yeah, I've been thinking of new game features all day today, and yeah, decided that what I thought of all day today is pretty shitty, so I gave up on that idea. But it was basically, it would have complicated the level up process. Is that vibrating? No. Great, it is now. That's great. Maybe it's a good thing though. Better not add too fresh stuff 2 weeks before launch. Yeah. Also, that would have been kind of a big feature. So that I wouldn't do that rashly. So I would have to think about that a week or so at least. But it was about delaying the level up so that you could only level up at shrines. So basically the path stones could have been the path stones, or maybe shrines that are just similar but maybe more abundant. But yeah, the idea was you have the option to level up immediately, but you only gain 1 status point. So that's one of these. Only 1 of those. Or you can wait and reach the next shrine and gain 3 status point updates. So the point is, of course, while you're heading for the next shrine, you might as well just die because it didn't level up that 1 point, which should also heal you. completely. But yeah, it's not sure if it's a good idea, because it's pretty aggressive in that it kind of defines what the game is, if you know what I mean. It's such a big thing that might not be a good idea. But it's interesting from a gameplay standpoint. So basically you would get, if you have enough experience, something would give you a rune or just a piece of paper, could be a contract. Just something that you then carry to the next shrine and trade in for a complete level up. Man, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong with this shaking. Display. Close. So if I have these kinds of bugs, then most of the time I've just thought about the problem completely wrong. But now it's shaking. So it should be attacking me. Okay, it did. Still shaking. Still shaking. I move away and it stops. But it still attacks. It shakes again. So it stops shaking if it moves. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe I should do this. It's also wrong. When is the target position 0? When the hero is no longer in combat. The entity. If the combat is 0, if it exited combat, then set this to 0. Otherwise, don't care. Okay. Please work. I'm only halfway through my stuff. My tasks for today. Okay, food. I need enemies, please. Serious. That's actual sabotage. Where are the enemies? There they are. Oh, it's vibrating. That's a good sign. Well, on a random note, glad the stream isn't going all pixelated anymore. Touch wood, yes. Thanks, Nvidia. Even though they are kind of manic, have been for years, they did make good graphics card back then. Graphic cards. And it's actually crazy. So this is a 1080 Ti that I had for 8 years, and the bandwidth on that graphics card, the memory bandwidth, is still higher than the newer Radeon card that I bought. It's actually a monster. And it has, well, it doesn't have better video encoding, but it has more stable video encoding. Okay, let's see. Why didn't it wake up? That's also a bug. Okay, when it moves, it stops vibrating. Why? Why? Okay, it moved, yeah, it's okay. Still moved. Well, if I'm stopping it, it'll kill me, but it vibrates. Okay. Do I set the shake time somewhere else? Damage. Don't think so. Never set it to 0. Shake time is 0. Nope. Never set it to 0. But it has to be chase. I think I have to set this for strike. So so it knows where to hit. Uh, Let's turn on the debug rendering again. See if that works. Nope. Okay, I don't need. That's great. Don't need that. 1. Oh, okay. 0. Debug mode. Hey. Don't have D-pad controls, so that's bad. It's halfway there. That is input buttons. Oh God. D-pad. Okay, I'll have to do it this way. D-pad. I don't need that, but I need just on. Oh, it's not working. Yeah, so I'm just repairing the movement in my debug mode so that I can display what the PTG variable says in the entities, so I can maybe fix it. So if this is on, then I know the direction, so I can switch the direction I pressed on the gamepad. I can switch on the direction and say it's north, then D is 0 minus 1. Northeast, southwest. That's 1x. South is plus 1y. West is minus 1x. And then that goes away. And hopefully works. Okay, great. Why isn't this in the input file? Next side quest. Oh, come on. Input. D-pad direction. Put it over this. D is used uninitialized whenever if condition is false. Is that so? Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Klein. Don't need break. Okay. DBF. Okay, now I get it. Okay, new game, debug mode, movement. Very good. Now let's print the PTG variable. Where is the printing? Cursor, entity. Okay, I have combat, so that's good. Target position. Let's see what that is set to. And the entity is not wiggling. Okay, this one isn't, and it's at what? Oh, okay. They're still moving randomly. That was for the trailer. Fake walk. Yeah, don't fake walk. Something else. Update light map. That's fine. I could jump into the test room. Might actually be easier. Okay. So it doesn't shake. Let's see. It is target position 0, 0. Makes sense. So I wait, I get hit, and it vibrates. And it's at the hero position. So now I move, it stops, it doesn't stop. Still vibrating. It's at, still looking at the same position. Could it be... So... if the entity wiggles or not depends heavily on this target position the entity has. That is, for example, the position of the player it wants to attack. But that position is only updated when the entity takes a turn. If the hero moves, it should be guaranteed to update. Should I clear the target position every frame? Every turn? Maybe I should. Can I do that? No, I can't. Or can I? I think I can. Yeah. I'm back. Do enemies wiggle before attacking now? Almost. Almost. Trademark. Welcome back. I think I can just reset this every time. Let's see. Okay, that's a ranged enemy, that's different. Those don't work right now. Why is this so complicated? Okay, these are melee attackers. Same problem. If I move, it's gone. It's still looking at 0. If it's moving, it... Wait, then it shouldn't attack now. It attacks. Oh, this might actually not work. Yeah, I mean, this is the worst case. I might actually have to understand my code completely to solve this. I would have to have a thorough understanding of what's happening to solve this. That's always bad. because I'm not good at thoroughly understanding stuff. So if the hero moves one away from the enemy. So there's now a space between them. Then it's the entity's turn. Entity decides, first of all, it throws away its target, as I said. Then it decides, okay, there's the hero. It's not far away. Let's chase him. Then it chases the hero, which should set the target position. It stays in combat because the player pinged the entity and says, hey, here I am. Stay in combat. Entity should have here in chase. It's one away, so this fails actually. This fails, so it returns 0, which means PTG is 0, which means it doesn't wiggle. That makes sense. But in the next turn, the entity is directly next to the player because it moved. If now it's the player's turn again, the player waits. So the entity is not wiggling because it made a move and has not set the target. I should set the target. Here. Again. Does that make sense? So it checks if it's already there. If not, then it checks if there's a path towards the player, and then it walks. After it walks, so if walk returns 1, then the hero might actually be there. So I should call this again, no? I mean, it doesn't, the entity's turn is over at this point, so it doesn't matter if I set this. Let's just do it this way. And let's look at aim. The same thing's going on here. If walk is 0, then chase. And if chase is 1, maybe do this. Might be more complicated. Yeah, I would have to. Wait, I'm checking alignment each time. So I'm checking the alignment here. Oh yeah, I need to update the target position. I can only do that with align. Unless I put this into another function. Where's align? Please give me a line. There it is. I call this aligned. Returns 1 if E is aligned on a axis with, what is it, P? Entity, and then near and far. And between and far. That's, yeah, I'll get that. Static. Actually, that's not static. Okay. And MD. Entity, 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 MD, 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 MD. Okay. Return 0. Then I can say if aligned, and that is actually PT here. Near. Far. It's 1. Turn 1. The same thing here. And the reason I did that is so I can set the PTG variable here. Here. If aligned, that's PE. No, that's, yeah, it's PE. 1 entity range. Something like that. Does this set PTG? Oh, this is bad. It's PT. Okay, this is what I did before. And then this is the double check. Okay. Nine four. What was it? 9-4. 9-4-3. Which file? Oh, here. E PTG 1 entity range. What's the problem? Unused. Uninitialized. What are you talking about? Oh. Far. Yeah. Hey Raymond, how's it going? Some BSD style functions. Yeah. I try to keep it as unreadable as possible. So that's doing much more than just BSD. But yeah, I actually adapted the BSD kernel code. Style code, that is. 547 aligned. Oh, do I have to change all that? I mean, that's fine. Or not. Okay. Well, help a shot. Well, what do we have here? Okay. Guys seem to know each other. Okay. Does it? It wiggles. That's awesome. Oh, it still wiggles. This is progress. It stopped. It's back at it. It stopped. Still not working. Still not working. Let me catch my coffee real quick. It's just there. Okay, I wait. It wiggles. I move. It wiggles. Then you can. Oh, it's still wiggling. That one looked correct. They just don't wiggle enough, maybe. God. Just don't do it enough. Okay, it doesn't. It does. I mean, I wonder how this works with the turn points. It might not be accurate yet. How did it hit me there? It's bad. It still wiggles. No, it hits me every time. Okay, that's also bad. I might have fixed a bug that was bad. That was actually a bad idea to fix that. But I can unfix it maybe with the cooldown. By the way, Max, I know Rimmons for maybe 6 years at this point. Don't tell me you guys know each other from Twitch. That would be crazy. You know each other personally? Or... yeah, I used to stream then deleted my account. Okay. Just needed a change of pace, or... Or why'd you stop streaming? Where's my cooldown? Mainly got tired of Twitch. Yeah, I get that. Can be a bit much. Okay, cooldown. That's ranged cooldown. Let's give melee cooldown as well. Please fix it. Please fix it. Oh. That's fixed. Okay. That's actually good. So previously, what actually was the problem? So there was a forced one-turn pause for enemy attacks. Because... oh, the enemies could only either move or attack, but now they can do both. What's the wishlist count now? It's at 159. Oh, you mean now? I can check again. It is at 159. But I've just updated before I started streaming. Yeah, now, I wonder if it's gonna... No. But I just checked before stream. Actually, during stream, I think. Just after I started. Also not quite sure if it's real time, the display on stream. It looks kind of 90s, the interface that they have. Has 90s flair. Okay. Okay, I think this works again. I'll have to check this. Now that the game actually works as intended for the first time. Let's aim for 200. Yay, let's go. I'll make another short later. If I'm feeling like it, but I should. been on a roll for too long now to stop. So I'll get a couple of wish lists from that, I think. I wonder what it'll be tomorrow. It was like 135 yesterday. No. It was 150 yesterday, I think. That will be crazy. Old Witch show 145 yesterday. There too. Yeah, I mean it's rising fast. Yeah, but it was. I think it was 150 or 100. Actually, not quite sure, but it goes up by 10 every day. About 10. 10 people wishlisting. But yeah, I've been debating if I should post about the game in forums. Pretty low-key, nothing crazy, like going on Reddit and saying, hey guys, the typical thing, you know, hey guys, I've been working on this game for so many years and it's my dream to have it on Steam. I won't do that, but something like I think on Hacker News there's Show Your Work Saturday or something like that. Maybe I'll post it there. Second teaser can help. Yeah, I have to create a real teaser. A better one for early access. I should. Don't know if I have time, but maybe a day after something. Or maybe a good gameplay video or something. Might be better. Reddit, I guess, and maybe the game dev one. Explain your stack and watch people lose their minds. That you're not using OpenGL 3.3 or higher. Or your OpenGL function pointers and Windows input code from scratch. Get like 30 people being like, use SDL3 and GLFW. Why doesn't it use Vulkan and OpenGL 4.5? Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of trying to avoid that, and I think you would as well. But yeah, getting the Reddit bros to comment on the tech stuff. I mean, it's, yeah, I totally get that people like to talk about methodologies and programming and stuff, approaches. But it's a bit like, okay, this is going to sound pretentious, but it's a bit like a musician talking about the guitar they use all day long instead of the music they make, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Probably just leave the post description saying I want to deal with it. I do what I want to deal with it. Yeah, you can't be standoffish on the internet. That's not a good idea. The age of Twitter. Because you'll always lose, basically. Poisoned. Okay. Okay, this is much too much health or too less damage. Actually, I think I wanted the hero damage to be relatively the same. $16. Let's try 12. Yeah, I need to check ranged enemies, but it might be working now. Oh, it didn't attack and it didn't wiggle. It wiggles now. Waiting again, and it attacked. And it stopped. Didn't realize we were on 15. I was still playing 11. Yeah, I think I skipped one that I reserved for Steam. Just on accident. But that was just a day. So okay, let's look for some spiders. Spiders. Skeletons. There they are. Okay. Stop wiggling. Didn't attack. I'll wait again. Didn't attack. Wait again. Attacked. Didn't wiggle. Okay, melee works, but ranged not that much. I like the new menu. Be good to have options in the startup menu too, because I just had the shock of my life with the music. Oh, sorry about that. Well, the music is pretty loud in the start menu. Oh yeah, so you can change it right away. You mean? Maybe I'll just that's actually a good idea. Let's set the sound volume to the default to 5 instead of 8. Where's an 8? Where's the 8? 8, 8. There it is. 5. That should fix it a little. Diego, or I think it was Diego, or it was Andre. Maybe all three of you think I should add the options in the start screen. Problem is, let me see. Yeah, I'd have to remove the save and quit. For the start screen. I just realized I got an old debug build. One of these with the symbols in it, or one I sent you. Don't quite remember. Like a V6 when we were trying to figure out that bug on Windows. Oh yeah, the NVIDIA bug. That's funny. Yeah, but I think that's just the debug symbols still in it. I'm guessing you've got some macros to disable the editor in the release build. Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's just hey, Remens, thanks for the follow, Remens. Thanks. So basically I have a stub file. I'm not sure if that's called a stub or a mock or something. But I have a file that's called edit. If I can open it, that's all the editor code. And then I have a file that's called no ed. If I check it out, complicated, and that just has the update functions. So there's basically the functions that the editor.c file exports, but they're just empty. And in the make file, in the debug build. So if I define no debug in the make file options, whatever, then I just add to the sources, I add the real files. And otherwise, in release, I add the fake files. Well, I couldn't even run the debug build to toggle any editor or anything anyways. Did it crash, or why couldn't you run it? So I mean, the editor is probably not in it. I think I sent you a release build, but just with these symbols still in it. But I could be wrong. Debug build was crashing, remember? Oh, sure. Of course, yeah, there was a whole reason. I think I fixed it the next stream and I ran it and it worked. Yeah. Yeah, it was the OpenGL initialization that I screwed up. But the Radeon card that I had tanked it, but NVIDIA didn't. And NVIDIA crashed. So yeah, but that's how I do that. And I have a button, I think now it's F1 to jump in the editor. And I have a pound define in the code that just disables that button as well. If I'm in release mode. And that's it. That's just switching the file in the make file, so that the symbols are there, but they're empty. And then the pound define to remove the button. But that's it. So yeah, ranged enemies still not working. But I'm close, I think. I think that was aim. Aim. No, that doesn't make sense. Wait, chase? Does chase set PTG? It does. So this is superfluous, even wrong. Well, that's P. So yeah, this is more convoluted than I would like to be. The alternative is that I have planning, which is even worse. Planning system for the enemies, but because that gets that gets ugly really fast, and it's so much boilerplate for so little functionality. Okay, give me spiders. Spider is not wiggling. It's also not attacking. It's not wiggling at all. So range, combat. I need game entity attacks. If it's ranged and aligned, return 1. This is somehow not working. Why is it not? If I switch them around, near and far, no. Walk away. So I think I definitely don't need this call, second call. So to aim, the entity checks where the hero is. It tries to align on a horizontal or vertical axis. And this returns D, which is delta of the position that the entity should walk to align with the hero. Then it does the walk fails, then tries to chase, which is just a general get near the player. And the align function should have set the target position. And the target position is checked here, and the entity is attacking. If the entity is aligned with the target position, which is the hero, it returns 1 and then it wiggles. That should be the case, but it doesn't. By the way, did you already fix a bug where the spiders try to attack you even if they are on a higher terrain level? I wouldn't have called it a bug. It's just what they did. But yeah, it's kind of strange. Maybe I should fix that. But they just want to tell you that they're there. But it probably would be nicer if they didn't shoot at you. You're actually right here. The fix should be pretty easy. Maybe. Yeah, that's in the ping function. So the hero pings all the entity and keeps them in combat when they're near. Don't check the elevation. Here, so you can see. Just check line of sight. I check if the entity is asleep. I check if it's invisible range. I check if it's even an enemy to the hero, but I don't check the elevation. So if I check the elevation here, then I don't make them enter combat, but it also doesn't make them leave combat. That's what I'm assuming right now. So they should follow you downstairs and stuff. Down the steps. They shouldn't just lose sight of you. Just because you went down some steps. But they shouldn't see you if you walk past them while you're on another level. Let's check. There's the elevation check right there. Where is the most plausible? Maybe before line of sight. Because the elevation check is, I mean, it's not that heavy. Line of sight is pretty heavy. So let's do the easy checks first. That is... So this goes through all the entities near the hero, and their position is the return table of that function, and hero layer. Actually, I have the entity. Don't need to use that. And if that's greater than the step height, continue. Should be enough. That should be enough. Okay, that's a bad place to test that. Yeah, but that centipede doesn't care. Does not care. Maybe there's a better spot. Nope. Here maybe. Only bad spots for this problem. Yeah, maybe. Nope. Hold on to your bitrate. This might be a good spot. If I can spawn them. Yeah, so they definitely don't attack anymore. See if they still attack me if I'm on the ground. That might be good. Yeah, they do. Okay. Let's just leave that in there. And back to the problem. Yeah, so align doesn't actually set the P target position. Stupid. I went through a bunch of old emails and some of my master degrees professors helping setting me along with everyone else up to clone from the SVN server where we'd commit our code projects with a nice TXT file explaining required code style, which I'm sure is just a copy paste of FreeBSD's code style. Essentially the same code you write. Nice. Yeah, I've been through many styles of writing C code, but so this is a mix of OpenBSD, mostly OpenBSD, but then also from, I think it was NetHack actually, where I took all these cryptic names from, because much of the NetHack code looks like that. And I found that I like it. That's it. It's just less to read. That's it basically. Semantics are the same, but it's just less amount to read. I remember he'd create repos, lock individual directories to specific users, so only we and him could check out and commit to the folder. I mean, in the, oh yeah, I mean, for my age, most people assume I started off with Git and JS, no, SVN, Ada, and C. That's pretty hardcore. Yeah, I'll have to read up on Ada, but honestly, I tried to learn. I have this. There's a book on Lisp. The be-all end-all of computer science learning courses. Is it a CIP book? I'll have to look it up. I'm not quite sure what it's called. It's been a while. Where is it? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's it. It's that. And that just went straight over my head. I mean, I went through the first 40 pages or so, and it's Lisp is so elegant, but it's also so different from what I'm used to thinking with imperative programming. So it's the big book, yeah. Writing a Lisp compiler in Lisp, I think it is. They do. I mean, it's a super interesting book. But it's just too much for me. I'm not smart enough. I think my journey was Lisp, C, Ada, or Camel, F sharp, and then C. Okay, that's a crazy journey. That's a crazy journey. What was my journey? My journey was... I think I started with HTML in school, and then C, then a bit of C++. Then I went back to HTML, and then JavaScript, and then Java, but nothing seriously. Then I tried... Oh yeah, before that I went to Max MSP and Pure Data. That's audio programming. And then back to C, pretty much. Oh, PHP in there somewhere. Now do F sharp, C sharp, Python, and TypeScript at work. And I hate them equally. Okay, that's sad. When I did Lisp, floppy had a basic README file with basic syntax examples, as I didn't have the manual. So it was painful to learn, but a lot of fun as an 8-year-old. That's impressive. Lisp at 8 years old, that's actually impressive. But I think it's maybe just what you're used to. I didn't code until my late teens then. So you mean Lisp just soured it for you? Joking, of course. Yeah, I also didn't program for a lot of time. Hearing you guys talk is making me rethink. You might not be wrong. You might rethink my coding skills. Sorry, chat just jumped. Making me rethink my coding skills. So everything I listed, I'm not an expert in any of it by a long shot. Like 17, 18, I started coding again. Lamar, you might not be wrong. Yeah, for me it was C++ that made me not want to pursue coding as a job. But it's more the incompatibility with my brain. I think that's the thing. Or maybe it's just learned incompatibility. TBH, just coding as a job I don't like. Yeah, I noticed that too. It's completely different if you do it as a hobby as opposed to in a larger team, for example. That makes a huge difference. By itself. I was so adamant in uni that I wouldn't code for a living, but it's where the money is. Yeah. Yeah, I know. But I've circumvented the programming rut by being not rut, but rut by being self-employed most of the time. Just doing contracting work. So that's actually pretty nice. I guess with the languages you've used, you've mostly done contracting for majority of your career. Yeah. I should actually make these stupid spiders wiggle. Not test the game the whole time. Okay, these are melee. That was a spider. Oh, it's wiggling. No way. So if I pause, it should attack. It attacked. Now it's not wiggling. So if I move, it shouldn't attack. It didn't attack. If I pause again, it shouldn't attack. Didn't attack, but it's somehow pausing longer than I thought. Pausing again, and it attacked without wiggling. Okay. Had contracting pays decent. Your own hours and rates aren't too bad. I think over here though you get punched in the face by tax. Okay. Fact it shakes, makes it look like it's itching to have its turn to attack you. Let me add him. Let me add him. Yeah, kind of does. Oh, it's just cold. Might also be it. Not sure about the taxes where you live, but here in Germany is actually, I mean, not being married is the main thing here in Germany. If you're not married, then you're screwed. But otherwise, it's okay. I mean, it's high taxes, but you also get paid. Not being married means you're screwed, or being married. No, not being married means you're screwed in terms of taxes. In Germany, at least. Yeah, so if you're not married, you're in a much higher tax bracket automatically. But being married, this means you're screwed in other terms. Okay. Not sure about that. Okay, guessing you're enjoying the tax bracket you're in. I'm stuck here, yeah. In my tax bracket. But that's okay. If you don't make a lot of money, then you don't have to pay a lot of taxes. So there's always that. That you can fall back on. How do I get the stupid spiders to work? Okay, let's put them in the test chamber. In the test room. Because that's just unfeasible. Test room. Give me a spider. A couple of them maybe. That's not a spider. Maybe I should disable the entity removal in the test room. An old colleague's girlfriend had to earn just about minimum wage. She was on a lot of money, and their combined income means they'd lose their childcare allowance, and he'd get taxed a lot more on top. Yeah. UK tax bracket is horrible. When you earn worse the tax, to the point someone earning 80k a year could be better off than someone earning 100k a year. Yeah, that's just stupid. I'm not a tax expert, but I'm sure there's these edge cases in here as well. Or these ramps in the brackets. Yeah. Sure, it's not that terrible. I mean, it's fine. I'm not complaining about my tax bracket. But I think I pay, well, it ramps up, of course. So normal salary here, typical is maybe, in my tax bracket is maybe 35% or something. That's income tax. And then as a contractor, you pay business tax. And that's maybe another 5% or so. Well, not exactly. Between 2 and 5%. But yeah. But yeah, it's sad looking. It's sad writing the invoices for your customers as a contractor, and you see all the money, and then what ends up on your bank account is just a small portion of that. It's frustrating, but you just have to change your mindset. Can we really shitty over here? Yeah. I mean, as long as you get by, I think that's the main thing. If you have a job that doesn't provide, then that's horrible. Okay, that one down there is attacking. Oh, I need to make them wiggle more. I might just be looking at pixel rounding errors the whole time. Came in and wrote 3 web pages. Why does the invoice say $500,000 euros? Sorry, mostly just text. Yeah, that's how I did it. Landing page, 250k. Imprint, that's 100k on top. Easy money. Joking, of course. But yeah, that's something I always hated, is actually my customers were pretty educated when it came to software and the effort that's behind it. So I never had really problems with my invoices. Oh, you want this button to have a radius of 8 and not 4? That'll be 2k. Yeah, I'll send you the fix in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, that'll be 2k. Yeah, software is a strange thing. More wiggling, I said. Well, that's an object. Render entity face. Shake timer. Oh, it was in buffs. There it is. Wiggle. Turn, wiggle. How long have you been out of contract working full time on this? About a year. More or less, how you count. Yeah. Okay, test room. Yeah, sometimes the keyboard button doesn't work. Right, gotta head off up early to drive to the office. Alright, Ethan. Good night. Thanks for checking in. I will catch you tomorrow maybe. So I've got hockey after work. Alright. Have fun at hockey. Good night. See ya. Okay, this one's wiggling. I don't get it. Might be too difficult for me today. No idea. No idea, but I've spent too much time on this. So let's call this half done. I'll look at it tomorrow and find it in 5 minutes probably, the error. Add blindness traps. Okay, this is adding objects. Let's see the other ones first. Food satiates. What a strange word. Food reduces hunger less. It's not taken if hungry. Okay. I actually wrote saturates in my notes. That might be why I'm thrown off. Yeah. So the more hungry you are, the more hunger it restores. The other way around. You know what I mean. That is in item. I don't have food, I have mushrooms. Hey Wilby, thanks for the follow. I have mushrooms and meat, and then I'll say Okay, it just sets it to full here. Creeping just a little bit, but the game's looking great. Thanks. Feel free to creep. I need full struct. So full hunger is 500. Let's say if you're hungry, then it sets it to full. Else it adds 200 maybe. Maybe a bit mean. Maybe 300. That's just to spice it up a bit. Okay. Okay, let's add blindness traps, but let's do it the easy way. And keep the traps that I have. These spikes. And just roll a dice whether it poisons or blinds. On blind also flashes red, so that's easy. Good night, Andre. See you next time. Thanks for checking in. The all-time high of viewers. I don't have a view count. I've actually turned that off a long time ago. Okay. Red 5, I think. That's awesome. That's pretty nice. Hey everybody. I'm making a game. And now I'm blinding the hero. They're not careful. Where's the trap? Okay, there's the trap. I still have the guard mode in here, but I think that's okay. So let's roll random int 0 to 1. Well, do I want it to be 50-50? Nope. I want less blinding traps. Just intuition. Okay, so if guard mode is off and I roll a 0, then hero gets poisoned, otherwise they get blinded. And this should this be as high? Don't think so. Let's say put word trap. Oh yeah, that's no damage. That was fine. 7 is the new all-time high. That's crazy. That's neat. Okay, that should probably do it. Don't have BSD make anymore. Screwed up the hunger thing. 4. Just clamp this at the upper end. Okay. New game. Let's jump to the test room and place a whole lot of traps. Wrong button. Spikes. Oh, blinded. Blinded. Poisoned. Okay, I said 1 in 3 is blinding. Okay, that's somehow not working. Oh, I did it wrong. Because I was talking. While writing code. What was the file? Entities. Yeah, that's stupid. So let's say I roll a dice from 1 to 4. If it's 4, then make it a blinding trap. Else it's a poison trap. That code's stupid. Could just use an if case. Gotta say it's nice to have more chat activity like today. Yeah, I hope some more people find the chat. I like it as well. But I think as long as I keep streaming, that'll increase. That's what Twitch promises me. Every time I go live, so implicitly, of course. Let's just see. Yeah, okay, this works, I think. Okay, I have blindness traps. And then I'm not sure if I want to complicate that. So the idea is to have bad food and bad potions that heal you, but they also reduce a stat for time. So it's a trade-off. Not sure if I want that. The software and game dev category has much fewer people watching than just chatting, or more dopamine-oriented themes. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's super niche. It's for software people. I can promise too that when the game releases, more people will gravitate here. Probably, yeah. At least for a while. People will check out the stream. I think it's good to have fewer people interested than a chat full of random emojis. I mean, I don't think it's for my channel, but Now and then I like watching streams with flying emojis. Seeing chat reactions when something's funny, it's actually kind of neat. But yeah. Don't think that will happen that often here. Yeah, sorry for hitting the mic. What else do I have? Do I dox myself if I open the Steam client? I don't think so. Or the Steam menu. I mean, I can delete the VOD if I need to. Steam. Wait, I don't have Steam installed? Okay, that settles it. Never mind. I thought I had Steam installed. I think the worst case scenario would be send you a friend request. Oh yeah, my Steam handle would be visible. No. Yeah, there's the Steam review team sent me a note, and they said when you open the Steam overlay in the game, that's with Shift tab, then the game doesn't pause and is still controllable, I think is what they said. I don't have Steam here either. But I had the Steam overlay open and I clicked around, and I've never had the player take a turn while the thing was open. I'll have to check that. That's on my list anyways. Actually the to-do list is pretty checked out. Try placing. Yeah, it's just minor bug fixes and tweaks. What else is there? So I have some other features here, but I'm not sure about them. Not sure if I want them in the game right now. I'll just have to do more playtesting. Where are my big to-do list here? So in the coming days, I will be doing, I think, just playtesting and balancing. I'm actually not sure if I can add big features before release. Probably not. I would like to have something that something to work towards, but maybe I'll just add some text to discover. But I still have a whole week. So I have this week, and then don't let me lie. I have till Sunday, and then another whole week, and then to the 20th. So I'm actually good in time. So if you haven't heard, the game is through the review on Steam. They sent me an email yesterday after stream that it's gone through the review, and that's awesome. So I could release it at any time. Actually, I don't think that's true. I think you have to adhere to the release date that I set. But there's no problem stopping me from releasing. And yeah, that was a big question mark, but it was actually pretty easy. There was one feedback round. It took about a week. They just had to, they just said I had to change something. I had to clarify something in the store description. That was about it. So the other things they told me, like the Steam overlay, was just, they sent me a list of things that I should fix, but that don't prevent me from releasing it on Steam. Do you have to pay a kind of fee to release on Steam? Yeah, you have to pay, I think it's $100. But that's if you become a partner. So you pay the $100 to become a partner, and then the game is included. So yeah, that's how it works. And I think that's just so that Steam doesn't get flooded with garbage games. It's like $100 for each game you want to publish. Yeah. That's, I think that's how it works. I haven't delved into Steam and all its options that much. I just did what I had to do to release the game and to understand their build system and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, but I think I should improve the teaser trailer I have. I still have the make file of how I cut it with FFmpeg, so I could just alter that, create new clips, throw them in. That might actually be doable in a day. That's expensive, but not that expensive as a full publisher. I'm not sure if the prices are different. Also, Steam gives you the $100 back, I believe, if you earn more than $1,000 or something. There was something about that somewhere. Yeah. Also, I think this is necessary to prevent LLM spam nowadays. Sorry, maybe I missed something. What does the game need to be published? The game, I just need to press a button right now. So the game doesn't need anything anymore. It did need a review. So you need to send it in to Steam and they look at it. And then they tell you if you have to change something or if it's okay to be released. And I went through that review. I mean, $100 is really not that much if you really worked on your game. Yeah. Yeah. And I think Apple is the same. Apple is $100 a year, I think. At least that's what it was. So that's typical. It's pretty much the same as the App Store. Revenue share is also 30%. So yeah. Oh, actually, I programmed a lot of Swift and a bit of Objective-C as well. Did some iOS apps. Just thought of that. But nothing serious. Okay. So what I have, for the next 2 days. This is actually the old list, but it's pretty accurate. So playtesting, polishing, the usual. This is my original plan. I just had the trailer planned for today and tomorrow. That would have been fine as well. So yeah, more visual effects like animal particles. That'll be super fun. I can't wait to put in flocks of birds that are just white dots that are flying across the screen every now and then. Maybe not flocks, maybe let's start with one bird. That's fine as well. I think that will add a lot. And what they call firebugs, glowworms, that make little streaks through the forests. So I've been waiting for that for weeks and months. Then I want more soundscape effects. So forests and rain. I mean, I kind of have forest. I want birds and I want rain. Then I want monster vocalizations. And in the beginning, just for hitting and for attacking. Actually, maybe just for hitting. And then more polishing stuff. Little stuff. I have no idea how the code to make the birds move around would look like. You just move them around XYZ. Yeah, it's just particles. So what particles are, it's just a fancy name for something that doesn't do much. So I can show you the code. So this is a particle. This is initialize particle. It has a type, it has a layer, it has a lifetime. That's just a float. Could be 3 seconds, for example. And then I assign the layer again because that's a typo. It has a size, a width, a height, position, a color, and a UV for the texture. And that's everything. And then if that's set, it gets updated. Update particles. So I have this update particles function. It goes through the array. So there's a huge array with all particles in it, and it just iterates it. And then for each type of particle, let's look at a simple one. The fog, for example. So the fog particle, this is delta time. So the frame time, it just subtracts that from its lifetime, so that it'll fade away in, let's say, 3 seconds. And this is the same, but in just normalized. Then the fog I animate. I say, okay, get the lifetime in a sine function and set the width and the height to it so that it expands like this the whole time. And say the alpha is proportional to the width. So it expands and contracts the whole time. So, and that's also just a rectangle. That's all the fog particles that you see in the game. They just expand and contract and they change the alpha. So they fade out and they fade in. And then I set the velocity for some reason. Oh yeah, I think I set the initialized the velocity somewhere else. So it has a velocity that just moves it across the screen very slowly. And then I update that velocity and add it to the position. And that's all it does. And if the particle has no lifetime left, it gets deleted from the array. So yeah, this is the update function. Then I have the render function. They are split, and rendering is just that. It goes through all particles again. This is important. It sorts them by depth into the screen because they are transparent. So you have to sort them because of crazy reasons that are, yeah. If you're interested, you can look up alpha sorting, transparency sorting. You have to sort them. And then I just I don't render particles that are not on the layer of the player, so that's just preventing bugs, visual bugs. And then I translate, scale, and translate again the matrix, just 3D stuff, and then I render it with a shader. So that's just typical rendering code that I use for everything else. So the entities in the player are also rendered with a similar call, basically the same call. So particles are just things in a giant array that get all updated at the same time and all rendered at the same time. And yeah, change over time. That's it. And so the birds would just be like the fork that expands, but birds don't expand or change alpha value. They just have a velocity that I set at start. So I say, okay, this bird has a velocity that points in this direction, and it spawns off screen, and then I just let it fly across the screen. And then I say, okay, after 5 seconds, you're done. Are you doing the struct alignment thing? Or it really doesn't matter here? You mean the pragma pack? For the particles, that's irrelevant because they're all at runtime. Struct alignment, if you mean pragma pack, byte alignment, that only really matters if you're saving stuff to disk. Or if you are, well, if you, no, that's actually the only reason. It's just when you write stuff to disk. And yeah, I do set the alignment of the save game structs, for example. But for the particles, they are just arrays that get iterated. So that's, yeah. They sound fancy and this code might look fancy, but they are actually one of the easiest things. People say that if the struct is aligned in a way that is friendlier to the CPU cache, the game will be faster due to more caches. Kind of true, but that's important if you're Naughty Dog or Rockstar, but that's not important if you make a smaller game with simpler graphics. You might get a bit of performance, but that's not worth the effort. So if you don't have a really good reason, you shouldn't pack in your structs. And think that's premature optimization. That's always a bad thing. So you shouldn't program for a case that might occur in the future. That would be such a case. optimizing before having a performance problem. You know what I mean? Because then you're lost. Then you're no longer programming what you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to be programming. You're programming something that's somewhere in the future. That's maybe a bit dramatic, but that's something I've learned the hard way. So I have these pragma pushes here and pragma pop around. This is a v2 vector. I have that only because that's in the object, that's in the entity object. So this is a better example. The object struct, and I have a pack and a pop and a static assert so that I don't screw up the save files and make them incompatible. And that's pretty new. But yeah. And actually the pragma pack is not strictly needed. But I'm doing it just in case to be safe. And because those are just dumped to disk. But they actually work without pragma push on Linux and Windows. That is AMD 64, of course. That would probably fail horribly with ARM 64. So I need the pragma push and pop for ARM and x86 compatibility. Probably, most likely. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure that that would break. So you wouldn't be able to load a save file. That's created on ARM on an x86 machine. If this wasn't put in, the pragma pack and push. And I vaguely remember having a pragma struct alignment problem with OpenGL before, but that's pretty long ago now, I think, and I can't remember. And that was probably just my stupidity. But yeah, other than that, you don't have to change it. So I actually don't have to change it now. I also prematurely optimized this. Well, it's not optimized, it's defensive programming. Not that important. I just want to make sure that I don't screw up the save files, because that's bad, because Steam is auto-updating. So if I screw up the save files, make them incompatible, upload a new version on Steam, then everybody loses their save file automatically. Every single player. Yeah, that's pretty scary. I mean, the runs aren't that long, so it's not the end of the world. It's not Baldur's Gate 3, but still would be, I mean, it's unacceptable. Must not happen. So yeah, I put some safeguards in there. Would probably nuke reviews. Probably. Pretty sure. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll end for today and make a quick short offline. And yeah, then be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, no? Yeah. Okay. That's good work, thanks. I really wasn't as productive today as yesterday. Mainly because I've spent time thinking about features. But I think that's also kind of warranted, but yeah. Good night, Andre. Good night, Fuzzlings. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it very much. I'll be back tomorrow, maybe in the afternoon, because I'm not as tired in the afternoon. Makes sense. And bye, Diego. Thanks for checking in today. Yeah. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for wishlisting. Thanks for liking the videos. Thanks for helping me make the game better. And we'll do that again tomorrow. Alright, guys. I'll see you then. Bye.